Now, Lio Rush took to social media 24 hours ago to announce that he will become a free agent as of Valentine's Day, February 14th. That is the date that his contract is expiring with AEW. He did not clarify if it was his choice not to renew or if it was AEW's choice to simply let the contract expire. But PW Insider says there are a number of deals coming up in the next few months that AEW plans to let quietly expire. So I think it's safe to assume that Lio Rush is probably among those names. And AEW, i.e. Tony Khan, has decided to not extend his deal or re-sign him to a new one. Which is very interesting, given that not 2 weeks ago on this very podcast, I did my predictions for 2022. And what I predicted on that show, if you will recall, is that this year we would see several AEW talent departures. Not mass cuts like WWE does, but rather Tony Khan would allow contracts to quietly expire for people that they're not actively using, which only makes sense since they're still in acquisition mode. They're signing new names. Tony Khan is still talking about debuts coming up and surprises. There's talk about maybe Johnny Gargano in Cleveland this week at the Beach Break show. We'll see, what happens there. Brody King just debuted on TV a couple of weeks ago. All right, O'Reilly a few weeks before that. So they're still signing new names. They got to make room somehow. And I mentioned Brian Cage as one of the obvious names likely to leave. I said when their deals come due, it's going to be a case where they're going to quietly not be renewed. Lo and behold, here we are. Peter Avalon's deal recently expired, right? The librarian. I guess they can still use him if they want on a per appearance deal, but his deal is done. Brian Cage is another one whose deal is set to be coming up very soon. He has not wrestled a match for AEW since October, and he's not been hurt. Even though, he's been backstage at all the shows, he's not injured. Joey Janela's deal is set to be expiring, as is Marco Stunt. They seem to have moved away from the whole Jurassic Express thing on TV. They just refer to Jungle Boy now and Luchasaurus. There's been no mention of Marco Stunt. I guess he's been doing stuff for auditioning for that TV show The Voice, but it looks like he may be reaching the end of his run there as well. Now, they could always reach a new deal with any or all of these people between now and then, but that is where things stand at the moment. But this was inevitable. And people are going to use the false equivalency of this to WWE firing 80 wrestlers last year like it's the exact same thing. Firing 80 wrestlers long before their contracts were even due. And they'll compare it like it's apples and apples and not apples and oranges. But that's what the tribalists do, right? What's good for one is good for the other, except when it's not. Except when it's not even close to the same thing. Now, I can't speak to why AEW has not done anything with Brian Cage. That remains a mystery to me. People will say, well, his wife made derogatory comments, which she really, look, I can understand her frustration, but they weren't using him even before Melissa Santos went public with the comments that she did in that interview with Chris Van Vliet. So it remains a mystery to me exactly what happened there. They booted him out of Team Taz, and really we haven't seen him since. It's a very weird situation. There's no reason that he shouldn't be doing something on television, although I guess being kept off is better than being on TV and doing jobs every week. I heard that he and Will Ospreay had a killer match last night for the Warrior Wrestling promotion, and Ospreay got on the mic after the match and said Cage should be on TV every week. He put him over. I've taken AEW to task for not doing enough with Santana and Ortiz. Those two have largely wasted the last year and a half of their career. And I was really gung-ho on them when they first came in and they put them together with Jericho in the Inner Circle. I said, man, what a great prominent spot for them to be in, hand-picked to be in Jericho's new group when Jericho was still one of the top, 3 names in the promotion at the time. And look at what they have done or haven't done with Santana and Ortiz in the last 18 months. It's ridiculous. There is no defense for it. And then there's Lio Rush. Now, I see a lot of people claiming that Tony Khan didn't renew his deal because he was upset that Lio called him out publicly for the way that he responded to Big Swole. when Tony Khan tweeted that response to Big Swole's accusations about AEW and, all of these different things. Tony Khan went into this whole thing about diversity and how diverse the roster is, but then he made the comment about how I didn't renew her contract because she just wasn't a very good wrestler. And then he said, watch Rampage tonight. Street Fight tonight. Watch Rampage tonight. But it was that little dig in there that people really took issue with. And Lio Rush was among the people who had a very big problem with that and went on social media and said that he's fucking pissed. And then in all caps, I think he tagged Tony Khan. He said to his boss, Tony Khan, publicly on social media, he demanded that he apologize for what he had done. And that probably was not the wisest move to do. The wisest move to make is to go on social media and demand that your boss apologize and to go off, the way that he did, which he's certainly free to do. But I will say that was not exactly a great career move for him. But I also don't buy into this idea that the reason he's leaving is because of that. I don't buy that. I don't believe that's the only reason at play. So you're going to hear people saying that. I don't think that's the case. That's kind of an easy, low-hanging fruit kind of thing to point to. But if you remember, Lio put out another statement not long after that. Obviously, he had some kind of a meeting or a conversation with Tony Khan after this. And Lio put out a follow-up statement talking about how proud he was to work for a boss like Tony Khan. Tony Khan was liking Leo's tweets as recently as a few days ago about his album. Because, Lio Rush also has an album and he's got some songs. And Tony Khan was liking his tweets on social media. So, obviously if there's any kind of heat, supposed heat, from one end or the other, it's obviously not that bad. It's not like they're not on speaking terms. I think any talk of there being heat one way or the other is being greatly over-exaggerated. If his contract is expiring in 3 weeks, then that must have been a really short-term deal to begin with. This guy was not signed to a long-term contract. And I don't get the sense that Lio Rush is somebody who likes staying in one place for any length of time, which is why he didn't sign a long-term contract. He did an interview recently where he referred to himself as a lone wolf. He works for multiple promotions. In fact, he's on the GCW show tonight. This guy's everywhere. Even that reality show that he was on last year, The Challenge, which at one time was kicking everybody's ass in the ratings, including AEW. He was on The Challenge, I think about a year ago, a little over a year ago. He left the show early, after only a few episodes. He said living in that house triggered him because he lived in a group home when he was a teenager, and for his mental health, he had to quit the show and get out of the house. I don't get the sense that being locked into a contract with any one company is good for this guy's mental health. And if I were a promoter, if I wanted to use Lio Rush, it would be on a per-appearance basis for special events. Lio Rush clearly cannot do contracts with a wrestling company like you would do with WWE or AEW. And if I were Vince McMahon, if I were Tony Khan and Lio Rush, we were having a conversation about coming in, there would be a very short cap on what I would have him doing and how long I would bring him in for. I would not feel comfortable signing this guy to a contract. I don't think he can be relied upon. He's an independent wrestler. Through and through. He's like a vagabond. That should be his nickname. The wrestling vagabond. Lio Rush. Bouncing from one place to another. Now we know why he got replaced by Jay Lethal in the storyline with Team Taz. So I would not jump to any conclusions about this having solely to do with the Big Swole stuff. I mean, even before the Big Swole stuff went down, how many weeks was it since we saw Lio on television? It had to be at least a few weeks. It wasn't like he was on television every single week and then boom, the Big Swole stuff happened and we didn't see him again. Fightful says he hasn't even been seen backstage at any AEW shows. Actually, I think since early December, now that I think about it. So he was probably off television for at least 3 or 4 weeks before the Big Swole stuff even happened on New Year's Eve. It doesn't make sense that would be the only reason why his deal is not being renewed. It's clear to me that this was never going to work. And it's too bad because he's very talented. Nobody with a brain is saying that Lio Rush is not talented. But if this guy wants his independence, then he belongs on the independent scene, not under contract to WWE or AEW.